Welcome, magical ones, to the Wild Apothecary Pharmacy mini-series that I've been showing up to share some of the remedies that we dose here in the path of Wild Apothecary. And this is particularly those remedies that we're starting with, are those ones that are in our upcoming Invoke the Wild Apothecary Crucible, which we will be beginning to journey with in November. But yeah, I'm just exploring some of the common remedies essentially that we dose for those who associate with and resonate with being phosphoric witches. So if you've heard me talk about phosphoric witches, these are the women who are absolutely magical at their core. They were born here in this world to be magical. Not everyone is born in this world to be magical. So it's a particular type of woman who is here with a deep sensitivity, with an open heart, with a capacity to heal in the world. And essentially this woman is so deeply sensitive and open that she has then learned to shut down, to close, to shame her open beauty, her sensitivity, her gifts, her magic, in a world that just doesn't welcome it. So if that is you, then this is a series that is likely to be helpful for you in becoming unapologetically magical. And just as I always do, I'm going to be exploring and bringing alive a remedy. This is how I dose. It's quite different to, although our path is based on a homeopathic philosophy and lineage, the path here at Wild Apothecary is very much one of me energetically dosing remedies of the wild. And I make that clear because, as a bit of a disclaimer, when you go to, say, an energy worker, you will be choosing into consciously working with their medicine, whatever that is. So I am just sharing that if you're going to continue listening, the way I dose remedies, the way I activate women into medicinal healing, the way I activate them into their remedy, is through dosing the remedy by bringing it alive. It's an energetic dosing rather than anything else. So if that is not what you are here for, then I suggest that you stop listening, because it could be that anything I share in this video today is activating for you. And that's because it's really important to own our invocation of remedies, and that is why our crucibles are always called invoke your Wild Apothecary in this case, because there is a real conscious engagement with the remedy that is being dosed, and that is where the healing will happen. So yeah, essentially that's really important for me to let you know before we dive into our second remedy. So if you haven't already listened, there is a first remedy. We have already explored Aurum Metallicum, so have a little look back into the last video if you haven't yet explored that remedy, if that's something that feels aligned for you. And for now, we're going to go into Staphysagria, our second remedy of the Wild Apothecary, that typically is, again, these remedies that we dose are intentional. We're talking about intentionality in our theme in the Facebook group, the Secret Witch Circle Facebook group this month. And these remedies are super intentional because the phosphoric woman comes here, this is who her soul was born as, and what she will do is she will journey through different layers of remedy relationships that she came here to experience. And one of those is Staphysagria. So Staphysagria shows up often in Secret Witches in this deep kind of pattern and theme of suppression. This suppression of her intense emotions, this suppression of her sensitivity, this suppression of who she is. And so Staphysagria is one of the core remedies that we work with here at the Team Wild Apothecary. And as I said, this will show up in the way that the Secret Witch will feel like she has to suppress herself. And this is a remedy state that I have been in deeply myself this week. So I'm going to share a little bit more around that. But firstly, I just wanted to share a little bit around the wounding of Staphysagria. So the wounding of Staphysagria shows up in the way that you often will find beautiful, brilliant women will start to shame themselves. They'll have high standards, but they'll shame themselves and feel quite worthless. And it kind of ties into some of Aurum. If you did listen to Aurum, it ties into Aurum. It's got quite a similar feel in some ways to Aurum, but there's the deeper theme here is more of a suppression. So this woman is typically deeply sensitive, and she'll have this deep fear of feeling humiliated, of feeling shamed, of feeling embarrassed, of feeling unworthy. And so therefore she will totally usually suppress her emotions. And the secret Phosphoric Witch, she has big emotions. So this is no easy task for a Phosphoric Witch to be in a Staphysagria state. So what happens is she will push down, she will numb her emotions, she will stop listening to her body, she will suppress in every way possible these intense emotions that the secret witch, the Phosphoric Witch, will experience. And the Phosphoric Witch's emotions are typically bigger than the most of the rest of the world. The Phosphoric Witch has come here with this burning, fiery passion, and that can often, when it's not harnessed in a way that's used for what she desires, which is very much the kind of lachesis energy, which we may cover at some point. But when she's in Staphysagria, she's not using that passion for that. She's using her passion to be, her fire to be kind of suppressed, and she's suppressing her fire, which means that she very much struggles to suppress those emotions. So on one hand, she will keep herself in this kind of image of being a good girl. She won't go against the grain. She'll stop rocking the boat anywhere. And then it may be in private or to her close family, she will be like the most erupted, explosive person. She can really kind of struggle to keep those emotions suppressed, and they will come out. This fire will come out. It's got to go somewhere. So her emotions, which often can be those kind of wounded childhood emotions as well, they will come out in big, intense explosions, and often anger, which is something that when she's in shame, which again is a big part of this remedy, she will just begin to shame herself even more for her intensity, for her emotions, for her sensitivity, because of course the fact that she's sensitive has her have and experience these big emotions. So all of this becomes shamed, and she feels also, because when she's exploded, often that will kind of have people run away. This is something that I've been experiencing this week that's made me realise that I'm here to talk about and dose Staphysagria this week. Often these women will then have people run in the opposite direction. And even though these women in a Staphysagria state, and a phosphoric one particularly at constitutional core, she will feel like she has this deep emotional openness. Like she doesn't want that disconnection. That's the last thing she actually wants. So, and yet her suppression and her expression of her fire coming out in this anger, in these ways that feel not welcome to other people, these that will have her kind of feel that deep shame of her intensity. It will have people run away from her, and it looks and it appears to be closed. And that's something that I've really seen this week for myself, that's something new, that again we spiral into these deeper layers of our own wounding, and we see new things. And one of the things that I've really been seeing is that we can kind of shame our emotions, and we have these big intense emotions, and it appears to everyone else that we are closed. The reality is Phosphorus does not know how to close, so she is never ever kind of wanting that disconnection. She might appear to express that, she might appear very closed-hearted in the way that she is expressing herself, because she's kind of at some point suppressed all that really wants to come out, and it's come out in ways that she doesn't really want it to come out in. But there is never really that deep disconnect. That's something I've seen this week particularly. And yet, because of the kind of apparent closedness, because of the way that she's kind of expressed herself in a way that that scares other people, I've experienced, it triggers them into their own wounding, then she can feel very isolated. She can feel that deep fear of the witch, which is the witch wound of like being outcast, being isolated. And that is all part of this wounding of Staphysagria. And it's also, again, ties into this fear that she has as well of losing control. The theme of losing control in Staphysagria is huge, because there's this element of like, we have to keep this controlled, beautiful picture of who we are, which as witches is very, very difficult to do, because we're here for truth, we're here for naturalness, and this is the alchemized gold of this remedy state. So in her alchemized state, in her magical expression of Staphysagria, this remedy learns to alchemize her control shadow, her control fear. She learns to express her natural truth in a way that is from love, so that she can just be her unapologetic magical self. And she learns to love all those parts of herself that she's shamed. She's learned to alchemize and love the deep sensitivity that she has. She's learned to alchemize and love those big human emotions. The witch is not here to bypass. She's not here to kind of go off in this spirit world. She's here to manifest things on earth. She's here to create things on earth. She's here to heal herself and possibly the world. So she learns and sees that this is all part of being a magical one. This is all part of being a witch here on earth, to manifest in form, to be human, to heal humans. And she needs that intensity to be able to be her magic in form. She also learns to be a deeply loving expression of her intensity, so that it's not coming out in bursts of anger, because she's able to be who she is. And this is my deepest work. This is why this is my medicine. And when that has been alchemized, essentially this remedy has initiated her capacity and healed herself to be able to be that natural, truthful expression of her magic, that kind of open-hearted, sensitive, intense, but beautifully magical healer that she came here to be. And so me this week, I have been expressing this remedy, expressing Staphysagria. By the way, it will also show up in something that I've also experienced physically this week, which is cystitis. This is something that often women in a Staphysagria state will experience. So if you particularly experience that physical symptom, again, it's another sign that this remedy may be calling you. It's not necessarily that you have to have that symptom, but it can be a common one that shows up in this particular remedy type. And that is where I have been this week, expressing my Staphysagria wounding, and yeah, that big emotional expression. I had a big emotional expression which really repelled others, and really felt in that wounding, that witch wounding of being isolated, of not being able to be my truth, and really seeing how on one hand witches need for me to be my natural truth, because otherwise you know there's the lack of trust, there's like a being out of integrity. And on the other hand, when we express that, it can mean that people feel wounded, feel scared, feel triggered. And I've come to see that that is all perfect. The witch has this, again, this darkness that so many people are unwilling and unable to go into and be okay with. And so as we become our medicine, as we kind of live out these remedies and become the full expression of them in their healthy, beautiful, golden state, this is so much medicine for the world, who, especially for phosphoric witches, like, we need to go into the dark, we need to embrace that and learn to alchemize it into love. So that is where I have been, and there has been so much gold in the illumination of this pattern of like suppression and us needing to be our natural expression, and the fact that it's possible. So yeah, this human intensity is a medicine and that is something that, if you work more consciously with Staphysagria, is available for you to alchemize for yourself as well. So that's why I'm sharing that. And I think I'm going to leave it there. The ways that you can consciously begin to work with this remedy is fairly simple. So just begin to notice, part one, notice, where do you resonate with that remedy? What's it bringing alive for you? What resistance? What what resonance is happening for you, because as we begin to notice that, we're beginning to allow the remedy to kind of trickle through and begin to heal ourselves. The second thing is, can you notice where you're in that wounded expression of Staphysagria, and can you love yourself there? Because it is a sign that you are a magical one. And then thirdly, if you would like to go a little bit deeper, this is one of the remedies, as I mentioned, that we will be exploring as part of Invoke Your Wild Apothecary, which will go way deeper than we have gone here today. This is like a low dose, low dose of Staphysagria, which, yeah, will be more potent in circle, more potent in that deep connection as well, I always find. So if you want to go deeper, I will share the link to this in the comments. We begin in October, I think it's the 3rd of October, Thursday, 6:30 p.m, and that's GMT. So have a little read in the comments if that's aligned for you, if that's calling to you. And we'll also be doing a taster event of the Invoke Your Wild Apothecary, where I will be dosing fully one of the remedies that is crucial to that crucible. So I'm going to leave it there. I am wrapping you in all the love. Remember to go gently with yourself, as you have been dosed with some energetic remedy, the Staphysagria remedy. So go gently, love yourself, and do share whatever comes up in the comments. Mwah.